She thought her birthday party would be perfect until her boyfriend and best friend revealed a shocking betrayal. So last weekend, my cousin Emma threw this big birthday party at my aunt's house. It wasn't anything crazy fancy balloons, a happy birthday band hanging kind of crooked over the sliding glass doors, and a buffet table stacked with homemade food. But Emma had been hyped about it for weeks. She wanted it to feel like a proper celebration, not just another family dinner. Everyone was there: my Aunt Linda, Emma's mom, my Uncle Ray, my brother Jake, and a handful of Emma's close friends. And, of course, Emma's boyfriend, Ryan. Now, I've always had kind of mixed feelings about Ryan. On the surface, he's charming, always cracking jokes, carrying drinks around, playing host. But underneath, there's this smugness that rubs me the wrong way. At first, things were pretty normal. We were out on the patio, string lights glowing, people sipping wine, my uncle at the grill. I was talking with Jake about football when I noticed Emma and Ryan standing near the kitchen island. Emma was glowing, laughing with her friends, and Ryan was, well, not really looking at her. His eyes kept flicking towards someone else. That someone else was Sarah, one of Emma's best friends from college. Sarah had shown up in this red dress that honestly made her the centre of attention the moment she walked in. She's always been a little flirty, but I brushed it off because, well, that's just Sarah. Except the way Ryan was looking at her. That wasn't casual. That was intentional. I tried to shake it off, but then Jake leaned in and whispered, "You seen this?" due to practically drooling. And sure enough, while Emma was distracted opening a gift, Ryan slid over next to Sarah. They were laughing, whispering, standing way too close. Emma didn't seem to notice at first, but Linda sure did. I caught her glaring from across the room, tightening her grip on a wine glass. At one point she even muttered, unbelievable, under her breath, loud enough for me to hear. The tension started building. Little things became obvious: Ryan helping Sarah with her drink, brushing against her arm, leaning like he was sharing secrets. And Sarah? She wasn't exactly pushing him away. If anything, she looked like she was enjoying the attention. Then came the moment that shifted the whole vibe. Emma had stepped outside to thank my uncle for grilling, and when she came back in, she froze. Ryan was by the dessert table, standing so close to Sarah that it looked like their hands were touching. Emma's face dropped. She didn't say anything at first, but the way her eyes darted between them, it was like the air got sucked out of the room. Jake nudged me, whispering, "This is about to blow up." And honestly, I felt my stomach drop. Because as much as I wanted to believe Ryan wouldn't actually cross that line, the writing was on the wall. Something ugly was brewing, and it was only a matter of time before it exploded right in the middle of Emma's birthday party. Emma didn't make a scene right away. She just walked past them, her jaw clenched so tight you could practically hear her grinding her teeth. She sat down at the table with her gifts and forced a smile, but her hands were shaking. I don't think anyone else caught it, but from where I was sitting, I could see her whole body stiffen. Ryan, oblivious or just pretending, kept doing his little horse routine. "Anyone need another drink?" he asked, his voice way too cheerful. He looked at Sarah, and I swear he winked. My Aunt Linda saw it too, because she muttered, "That boy's about to find himself outside on the cob." A few minutes later, Emma's best friend Natalie leaned over to her and whispered something. Emma gave the smallest nod and stood up. She walked straight over to Ryan and Sarah, trying to act casual. "Hey, what are you guys talking about?" Emma asked, her tone way too bright, the kind of bright you use when you're holding back rage. Sarah laughed nervously. "Oh, nothing, just catching up." Ryan slid an arm around Emma's shoulder like nothing was wrong. "Yeah, babe, just talking about her new job." But the look on Emma's face said it all: she didn't buy it. And neither did anyone else in the room. The vibe shifted again. People started avoiding eye contact, like they didn't want to get dragged into whatever storm was forming. Jake leaned in and whispered to me, "Man, I give it 10 minutes before someone flipped a table." Then came the cake. Everyone gathered around, singing happy birthday. Em smiled, blew out the candles, and cut the cake like she was holding it together. But as soon as she handed Ryan a slice, he turned and offered it to Sarah first. Not to Emma. Not to the birthday girl. To Sarah. It was subtle, but oh my god, the room noticed. You could feel the tension snap like a rubber band. My Aunt Linda actually slammed her glass down and said, "Ryan, are you serious right now?" Everyone went quiet. Emma froze, knife in her hand, staring at him like he had just spit in her face. Ryan laughed it off. "Relax, it's just cake." But Emma wasn't laughing. "Why are you acting like this? Why are you flirting with Sarah at my birthday party?" Dead silence. All you could hear was the hum of the fridge. Ryan put his hands up. Whoa, don't make it a big deal. I was just being nice." Sarah looked like she wanted the floor to swallow her whole, but at the same time, she wasn't denying anything. She just sat there, fiddling with her napkin. Emma's voice cracked as she said, "You think I don't see it? You think I don't notice the way you look at her?" Everyone was holding their breath. And that's when Jake whispered under his breath, "Here he comes." Because we all knew Emma wasn't about to let this slide, not tonight, not on her birthday. The second Emma's voice cracked, it was like the downburst. She slammed the cake knife down so hard it clattered against the counter, making everyone jump. "Don't you dare gaslight me, Ryan," she snapped. "I saw the way you've been glued to Sarah all night, my birthday night. You didn't even look at me once except to grab my shoulder like I'm some prop in your little show." Ryan raised his hands higher, playing innocent. "Emma, you're overreacting. Everyone's drinking, everyone's laughing. That's what people do at parties." "No," Linda cut in, her voice sharp as glass. "What you're doing is humiliating my daughter in her own home." The room went pin drop silent. Even Uncle Ray put down his plate of ribs and muttered, "Damn." Sarah, finally realizing she couldn't stay quiet, piped up. "Look, Emma, it's not like that. Ryan was just being friendly, okay? You know how he is. That line right there, that smug little, you know how he is sent Emma over the edge." She turned on Sarah, eyes blazing. Friendly? He's my boyfriend, Sarah, and you're supposed to be my best friend. What the hell is wrong with you? Sarah's face flushed. You're twisting it. He's the one who came up to me. Yeah, and you didn't stop him. Emma's voice cracked again, but this time it was fury, not pain. You've been giggling and leaning into him like some psychic waiting for your chance. Do you realize how disgusting that looks? I swear, my whole body tensed. It felt like watching a cock crash in slow motion. Nobody moved. Nobody even breathed. Ryan finally snapped, dropping the nice guy act. You know what? Maybe if you didn't suffocate me all the time, I wouldn't need to talk to someone else at the party just to breathe. The words hit like a grenade. Emma's mouth dropped open. Linda gasped. Excuse me, and Jake muttered, Oh, he's done now. Emma's voice shook as she said, So that's it? That's your excuse? You flirt with my best friend at my birthday party because I suffocate you? Ryan shrugged, defiant now. I'm just being real. And that's when Emma laughed. Not the happy kind of the bitter, hollow laugh that makes your stomach drop. Wow, you know what? Go be real with Sarah then. Clearly, you two deserve each other. Sarah's eyes widened. Emma, don't. Shut up. Emma yelled, tears in her eyes. Don't even say my name. You came into my house on my birthday and you disrespected me, both of you. The silence was suffocating. Even the string lights outside seemed to dim. Emma grabbed her wine glass, downed it in one gulp, and stormed off down the hallway, slamming her bedroom door so hard the walls rattled. Ryan just stood there, shifting uncomfortably, like he wasn't sure whether to chase her or not. Sarah stared at the floor, red as a tomato. And the rest of us? We were frozen, waiting to see what would happen next because something told me the betrayal hadn't even fully come out yet. For a moment, no one moved. The clinking of someone nervously setting down a fork was the only sound. Then Linda, who had been holding back for Emma's sake, finally lost it. Ryan, she said, her voice low but shaking with anger. You think you can come into this family, disrespect my daughter in front of everyone, and walk away like nothing happened? Not tonight. You tell her the truth right now. Ryan blinked like a deer in headlights. What truth? And that's when my brother Jake, who had clearly been sitting on something, leaned forward with this dark look on his face. Oh, don't play dumb, man. I've seen the texts. Everyone turned to him. What texts? Anna's muffled voice came from down the hall, but we knew she was listening. Jake pulled out his phone, scrolling furiously. I wasn't going to say anything because it wasn't my business, but after what I just saw, screw it. He shoved the phone in the air. Ryan's been messaging Sarah for weeks. Late night stuff. Can't stop thinking about you. Wish it was you instead. You want me to keep going? The entire room gasped. My Aunt Linda went pale, and Uncle Ray muttered something that sounded like, oh hell no. Sarah's face drained of colour. Jake, you weren't supposed to. She cut herself off, realising what she'd admitted. That was it. Emma's bedroom door flew open, and she came storming back into the living room, her face streaked with tears but her voice sharp as a blade. Is that true? She demanded, pointing at Sarah and Ryan. You've been sneaking around behind my back. Ryan stammered. It's not what you think. Don't you dare say that. Emma screamed, her voice breaking. You don't send messages like that to someone's best friend unless you're playing something. God. How long? How long? Sarah finally whispered, since March. It was like the air was sucked out of the room. Emma staggered back a step, her hand covering her mouth like she was physically sick. Linda let out a cry, half fury, half heartbreak. You snake, she hissed at Ryan. I knew she turned on Sarah, shaking her head in disbelief. How could you do this to her, to my daughter? You've been in this house more times than I can count, and all the while you were stabbing her in the back. Sarah's voice cracked. I didn't mean for it to happen. Emma cut her off with a scream. Shut up, you don't accidentally betray someone you call family. You made a choice, both of you did. Ryan reached for Emma's arm, desperate now. Please, babe, don't do this here. Emma ripped her arm away like his touch burned. Don't call me that, you're nothing to me, you're both dead to me. And just like that, she turned and bolted out the front door, barefoot, leaving behind her half-cut birthday cake, her guests, and a silence so heavy it felt like the entire house was collapsing in on itself. The front door slammed so hard the balloons tied, the banister shook. For a few seconds, nobody moved. You could hear the muffled sound of Emma's footsteps crunching down the driveway, then fading into the night. Linda was the first to snap out of it. She turned on Ryan, her eyes blazing. Get out of my house. Ryan tried to keep his composure, lifting his hands like he could calm her down. Linda, please, let's not blow this up more than it already is. I'll talk to Emma. I'll fix this. Fix this? Linda spat, stepping closer. You've been sneaking around with her best friend for months, and you think you can fix it with words. You humiliated her tonight, on her birthday. You've already destroyed everything. Sarah stood up then, tears streaming down her face. I should go, she whispered, grabbing her purse. But Linda spun on her so fast it made my stomach twist. Oh no, you don't get to slink out like some guilty card. You look at me when I'm talking to you. You've been like a second daughter in this family, Sarah. My door has always been open to you, and this, her voice cracked with rage and grief, this is how you repay us. Sarah's lips trembled. I didn't mean for it to. Stop saying that. Jay cut her off. He was standing now too, fists clenched. He meant every time you answered his texts, every time you smiled at him behind his back. Don't act like you tripped and fell into betrayal. Sarah broke down then, sobbing into her hands. But nobody moved to comfort her. Not one of us. Ryan, still trying to salvage whatever control he thought he had, muttered, You're all acting like a cheated. I didn't sleep with her. That was it for Uncle Ray. The man had been quiet all night, but at those words he pushed his chair back so hard it screeched across the tile. He stormed up to Ryan, towering over him. You disrespect my daughter. You humiliate her in front of her family, and then you have the audacity to split hairs about whether you technically cheated. Get out before I threw you out. The room was dead silent. Ryan looked around, realizing he had no allies left. Not even Sarah was defending him anymore. She just stood there crying, avoiding his gaze. Finally, Ryan muttered, "Fine," and headed for the door. He stopped halfway, turned back, and said, "You're all overreacting. Emma will calm down." "Don't you dare count on it," Linda shot back, her voice shaking with fury. He walked out, the door slamming behind him. Sarah followed slowly, shoulders slumped, but Linda's voice cut through the air one last time. "Don't ever come back here." When the door shut for good, the silence was unbearable. The house, which had been filled with laughter and music an hour earlier, now felt like a crime scene. The half-eaten birthday cake set on the table, forgotten. Finally, Jake sighed, rubbing his forehead. "Well, happy birthday to Emma Hall." Nobody laughed. It was close to midnight when the front door creaked open again. Everyone stiffened, thinking Ryan might have come calling back, but it was Emma. Her eyes were swollen and red, makeup streaked down her face, as she was clutching her phone like it was the only thing keeping her upright. Linda rushed to her, wrapping her arms around her daughter before Emma could say a word. Emma just buried her face in her mom's shoulder, sobbing so hard her whole body shook. "I can't believe them," Emma choked out. "Both of them. My best friend, Mom. My best friend." Linda kissed the top of her head. "SHH, baby, they're gone. They won't hurt you here again." Jake stood a few feet back, looking like he didn't know what to do with his hands. He said softly, "I'm sorry I didn't tell you about the text sooner. I thought I was protecting you, but I just ended up letting it explode tonight." Emma pulled away from Linda, wiping her face with the back of her hand. She shook her head. "No, Jake, you were right to say something. I needed to hear it. Her voice cracked. I just didn't think they would do this to me." We all sat down in the living room, the string lights still glowing faintly outside, though the party atmosphere had long since evaporated. It felt more like a wake than a birthday. Uncle Ray poured Emma a glass of water and handed it to her. "Listen," he said gruffly, "you don't waste tears on trash. Ryan showed you exactly who he is, and Sarah, she showed you too. Good riddance." Emma sniffled, gripping the glass with shaky hands. "But how do I even move forward? She knows everything about me. Every secret, every stupid crush I ever had. I trusted her with my whole life." Linda took her hand. "You move forward without them. That's the only way. You cut them out like a bad root before it spreads." Emma's eyes welled up again, but this time she nodded firmly. "You're right. They're dead to me, both of them." Jake, ever the cynic, muttered, "Bet you Ryan tries to text you in a couple days acting like nothing happened." Emma let out a bitter laugh. "If he does, I'll block him. Hell, I'll post those texts all over social media if I have to. Let everyone see what a slimeball he is." For the first time that night, there was a flicker of strength in her eyes. Linda rubbed her back gently. "That's my girl. Don't let them break you. This family's got you back, always." The rest of the night, we just sat with her. No more presents, no more cake, no more party games. Just family, surrounding her while she pieced herself back together. And even though the night was ruined, even though betrayal had ripped through the house like a storm, I couldn't help but think Emma wasn't broken. She was bruised, sure, but she was still standing. And Ryan and Sarah? They'd never set foot in this house again. The fallout didn't stop at night. It carried on like aftershocks from an earthquake. By the next morning, everyone in the family group chat already knew something had gone down. Emma hadn't posted anything publicly, but word spread fast. My Aunt Linda didn't hold back, either. She called her sister first thing and said, "Ryan's out, and so is Sarah. Don't you dare invite them to Thanksgiving." By noon, Emma's phone was buzzing non-stop, mutual friends texting, some apologizing, some asking what really happened, and a few even defending Sarah. That was the worst part. Emma scrolled through the messages at the kitchen table, her face hard. "I can't believe some people are saying I overreacted, like I imagined everything." Jake snorted. "Let Em talk. People love drama until it's their boyfriend and their so-called best friend doing the sneaking, then suddenly, they'd get it." Linda leaned over Emma's shoulder, reading the texts. "Block the ones taking their side. If they can't see betrayal when it's right in front of them, they don't deserve a place in your life either." And Emma did. One by one, she started blocking. The sound of her phone buzzing got quieter and quieter. That evening, I went with her when she picked up her things from Ryan's apartment. She refused to go alone, and honestly, I didn't trust him not to try and manipulate her. When we got there, Ryan was waiting at the door like a kicked puppy. "Emma, please, just hear me out," he begged, stepping toward her. Emma didn't flinch. She held her head high. "There's nothing to hear. You cheated in every way that mattered. We're done." He reached for her hand, but I stepped between them. "Back off, Ryan. She's not yours anymore." He glared at me, but Emma just brushed past both of us, walked into the apartment, and grabbed her bag. She didn't even look around. She didn't care what she left behind. When she walked out, she didn't so much as glance at him. On the way back to her house, she finally let out a shaky laugh. "Did you see his face? He looked like I'd just stolen his heart, like he's the victim." "That's how guys like him work," I said. "They mess up, and then they act like you're the one abandoning them." Emma nodded, her eyes wet but steady. "Not anymore. I'm done playing the fool." By the weekend, she had blocked both Ryan and Sarah on everything. She even unfollowed the mutuals who tried to stay neutral. She told me, neutrality is just another word for letting betrayal slide. I don't need that energy in my life. And you know what? Watching her rebuild herself, I realized something. Yes, the birthday party ended in chaos. Yes, the betrayal was brutal. But Emma didn't break. She caught out the poison, and she was already healing. Family was rallying around her like never before. And Ryan and Sarah? They weren't just out of her life, they were out of all of